Hello everybody and welcome back. Here is another update on Stellar XLM and XRP. Of course, I'm also quickly going to be covering VeChain, LTC, ADA, and maybe even Bitcoin. But yeah, for XLM, things are actually looking pretty damn good. It really looks like we did make a bottom here over at about 14.5 and we finally resumed the upward trend. I mean, looking at it from a just logical perspective here, it really looks like we turned back around and we are trying this Fibonacci level once more, trying to breach it this time and stay above there instead of this. I don't even know how to express what we saw there. A good rejection, but quite a ways upwards. Of course, that is a span of a couple of hours. But for right now, though, guys, make sure you press the like button, subscribe, and comment something down below because we're giving away 100 XRP if we can get 1,200 likes within 24 hours. So make sure you go ahead and do that. Having said that, having placed that into the video already, we can take a bigger look at the XLM fundamentals. And I've looked at the bigger picture here so many times, guys, and every time I take a good look at it, I just get reminded of the fact that this is all just a very small part of something way, way, way bigger. And by the way, this is the weekly, this is the daily, this is the 4 hour, and this is the 1 hour. And yeah, on a weekly perspective here, everything is still looking extremely bullish, extremely green. Everything is looking good. It's only once you start to zoom in to the 4 hour to maybe even 1 hour that things might look a little bit more dire. But on the 1 hour here, things have finally resumed positively. We have a sideways channel going on for the last 15 hours or so, which might be broken to either side. I mean, theoretically speaking, we are seeing this as a resistance area, not just a 1 point, but an area, since it is close to the Fibonacci and we previously got about there for just a little bit, so it's definitely a point of interest, which we are most likely finding some struggles with. It also comes aside of the 20-cent psychological barrier, which is also quite logical. I actually think that this tip here had to do with that 20-cent psychological barrier, as most of the time you don't hit it to the point, to the dot, but you hit it just below it or sometimes just above it, which I think this one might actually be a response of. But it's also more apparent that we made this move because of the zone that we drew in here, a very important zone for XLM, currently holding us as support. We've hit it 1, 2, maybe 1, 2, 3 times at least, again testing about that same little level here at about 14.3 cents or so, about 14 to 14.3 cents. And maybe right now, because the pressure was just closing in, we finally decided to switch back up because the bears could not win. At least that is what it is looking like right now. And we are just waiting for a breakout on either side to happen of this resistance. So either we beat it, the bulls win, and we go possibly to the next point of interest at about 28 cents. But I think that will all come down to Bitcoin fundamentals and what exactly is happening on that regard. And Bitcoin, I think, is not as clear right now as it sometimes is. I mean, it looks like it kind of made a bottom here because it hit it 3 times as well, but it's not as apparent. All right, we are actually closing a little bit higher right now. Maybe the trend has finally reversed, but I don't know what else to say about this one. This is the 15-minute chart here where we're dipping down quite a lot here in the last couple of hours after going up for a very long while. But what exactly the price is doing, what exactly is happening, I cannot really surely tell you guys here. I wanted to point out some patterns and wanted to say some stuff about that, but after taking a good look at it right now, when I started prepping everything, we were still going down, and I have my 2 cents about that, but I decided to wait a little bit more before actually talking about this, because looking at the price right now, it definitely has changed the situation a little bit. And by the way, I made this video here, this one specifically, maybe a couple hours in advance here, so you guys know what I'm thinking right now, and we can then afterwards see if I was wrong or right, because if I make it in hindsight, or, just a couple minutes before, I think it's kind of fake-ish, because we already have the price action. I can always claim, yeah, this is what happened, this was logical. Now, I would rather just kind of try to predict or really talk you guys through what I'm trying to do on a trading level, so we can actually make some money instead of just doing it on a different end. And this one specifically then is maybe not meant to make you money, but it is more so to win over your trust, that I'm not trying to bamboozle anybody, and I'm just trying to do my best, so to speak. So the XRP fundamentals here, because that's what a lot of people came for, are still looking pretty damn juicy. You might look at this and are like, Dusty, I don't know if you're blind, maybe you need some big glasses, but this does not line up. Well, actually, funny enough, it is just a matter of perspective, all right? If we look at it from this perspective, I should say, it does not really look that good. It looks okay, but it doesn't look that good. But the more we stretch out and the kind of the steeper, no, the flatter we make it, the more logical this sounds. Why? Well, if you put it on average here and you kind of switch everything up to be a little bit less of a slope, you can see everything just turns around a little bit, but ultimately the pattern stays the same, and you kind of have to find the middle of the pattern. It doesn't have to be exactly on the dot, right? It could be that we test this Fibonacci level once more and then come back up from there. It would still all suffice. It would still all work for the bigger picture and for the bigger idea. Scenario 1, though, that one is getting less likely to occur, as we've already kind of hit every point. I mean, one thing we could do is maybe put it like this, one more shove. No, I don't think this one is going to work that properly, guys. We should have already fallen back down a little bit more once first starting it off, and right now things are just looking a little bit strange for this one to pull through. But this is still kind of what it would look like then if we were to get something like that going on. Something along these lines looks kind of logical to me, I think. It's not a perfect ratio anymore. It's not perfect anymore at all. But this is still kind of what the move would look like. It is just depending on what wave we are at, right? We talked about Elliott wave theory in that sense a little bit yesterday. That would kind of decide which of these two patterns would we working out. And you might say, but they're the same thing. No, they are not. Definitely not. It is not like this blue one is a predecessor to the green one. It is a completely different idea of what the market is doing, and it's a fundamentally different thing. So understand that. Having said that, let's take a closer look at more of XRP, because I saw some guys in the comment section ask me about what my higher predictions were and why I've been claiming that and where it kind of came from. So I gotta, step back a couple of seconds here and tell you guys about this chart. And what you're seeing in here is the daily for XRP. And let me quickly tune that down for a little second. What you're seeing here is the daily chart for XRP to USD, and this is the first move that we saw from XRP's lowest freaking point of about, peanuts to about 40 cents. And that one extended beyond 4.23 and actually went to some 8 or so level. Again, I don't know the Fibonacci's out of my head for after this, as it's just the ratio of the level and the predecessor, and it should be 1.618. But if you just type in, just for fun and giggles, you go for about 8.3. What are we going to go for? 8.43. No, let's go for 8 points, like something like this. For example, you want to go for. That's almost right here, right? So that's just to give us an indication of what happened here. It is not perfect by far. Maybe if I were to go for 8.4, 8.33. Yeah, that looks about right? 8.8, something like this. I'm trying to do my best to get it perfectly here. I think something like this is where it should be going on. Something along these lines here. Yeah. That's our cue. That's gonna be fine. I know it's not perfect, not at all. I'm just trying to give you guys an idea. And I tried to replicate that on levels like this one. But another more important thing to kind of consider is this move here, right, that we saw back here. Extended level is about 4.236, right? Right now, if you take a look at that move, we are just between 1.618 and 2.6 for that bigger move. But even if we consider the move that's happening right now before it pulled back, well, at least I guess even this one is for the earlier run. I'm sorry that it's a little bit cluttered. I need to zoom in a little bit to give you guys a better intuition. It's a little bit too cluttered. I should actually be doing this on a cleaner chart, but I'll try that a little bit later. This here is the previous move from about July 18th to about August 3rd. I think that's about the move. We put the Fibonacci on there. We could have also taken it from down here. That would have also worked. I don't know which one you guys prefer. We can take this one as well. It's not really going to matter too much. But the reason I am putting those in or showing you guys that is, let's say we are at 4.236, and let's say you thought, you know what, we're not going to have a bigger run as we had back then, because that back then it was hype, a lot of hype just ish stuff, and right now we're having only fundamentals, so this is the start of everything. Then it still went beyond 4.236 of the previous run, because right now you can kind of see the July run is the same run that we saw right here. right? Even though in terms of percentages it does not work, but it's also a couple months prior, and we also fell back down quite significantly from that run. So let's say this is that new run and we still use the same fib. It should get to about 8.3 to whatever to kind of be on par with this if it were to be the same type of move. Again, I don't think it is, but that is my kind of minimum estimation all this time. And let's actually see if we can go to about 8.33 to make it simpler for ourselves. That's about somewhere near that, near the 3.618 fib extension of this earlier move, which, is kind of interesting, but that's about $1.36. And I also explained to you guys earlier why I think always staying above $1 is not that high of a chance for right now, but it is definitely possible looking at history, looking at that we'll most likely never get back to these 0.001 types of levels. So, from that perspective, it is possible. And I also talked to you guys about what if we were to make a move like this 8.3 on the current Fibonacci. Let me show you guys that as well. If we check this bigger bull run, we went from there to here, and extending to about 8 point something would give us a price of about $26, $27 or so, right? We also talked about those. And for XLM, you can kind of do the same thing. All you have to do is just look on a weekly, for example, take a Fibonacci on this move and kind of compare it to what happened before, which on this chart I cannot do. And your 4.2 is right around this area at about $4 and something, which again, a lot of us do think is eventually going to be happening. But for XLM, it kind of feels a lot more far-fetched and a lot more further away because we didn't hit those high extreme prices back in 2017-18. Even though we went really high, XRP feels a lot more expensive, right? Because, well, it's up a lot more right now. However, XLM fundamentals are looking good. For XRP, you'll see exactly the same thing, even though, let's actually zoom into a different one. I have so many fibs open right now, we can't see shiz. Let me close this one. Let me close another one. I need to close one more so we can actually see stuff. Let me go to this one. Let's take out the bigger one. Let's take that one out. Oh my days, guys. We have so many on top of each other. Let's take this one out once more. There we go. So we have now a little bit of an idea. Let's also take out this one for right now. There we go. We can finally start seeing some stuff. Look at this chart. It's completely flat. Oh, there we go. But yeah, I'm still working, by the way, on making this as accessible and as easy as possible. And I might have to just delete the blue lines from all except for the 1 hour here so we can more quickly and easily analyze that. And I've also found back my XRP chart. After a little bit of looking, this was our initial chart that we focused on here on the channel for a very long while. It was my kind of first experimental little witty chart here, and I find it really amazing that we could actually find it back. Yeah, because this was the wedge we were talking about, or the pennant we were trying to showcase. We broke to the downside. Taking a short could have been possible, by the way. I told you guys about that before, right? If we were to take it on, this is not like that at all. Let's say we were to take the breakout, which would be somewhere like right around there. We could have gone for about, let's say, I'll go for maybe like 10% profit or so with a 3% downfall. Would have been right around there. Something like this could have occurred. You could have potentially taken that again to the next nearest level right here. I would have probably taken that. It's always a risk though, but I'm just trying to give you guys some idea about what I would do. I also have a ton of news open here. Damn, I have a lot. I was actually checking and trying to test out here every single historical price that XRP hit, and kind of trying to put some link there between percentage changes and stuff like that, but there's nothing I can really go for. I am wondering, is there one website where you can just see all the big bull runs that XRP took place in percentages? Like, I know that XRP had some 1,000 upon 1,000% run here, right here. This percent run was crazy. This one wasn't even as crazy as this one in terms of percentages. But to calculate it yourself is kind of difficult because you have to zoom in so far, and I can't get the top and the bottom, so I would have to write it down and stuff like that. But I was like, maybe there is already a website that has put everything in place. If you guys have known about that or know about one, let me know. And also, let me quickly zoom in here to XRP 15 minutes. Let's see if something has happened. No, we are still trading exactly the same way as we've done before here, which makes me kind of anxious. What is going on? Where are we going to go? Are we going to test it again, or are we going to be falling back down? The more we progress here, the more it's looking like sideways is the way to go, and XRP is just not making any determined move at all. You might say, yeah, but we've fallen back down 40% or so. Yeah, we did. But then what now, right? We fell back into the zone and below it. So this right now is our kind of our new up and lower boundary. And we've stayed in that for already like a day and a half. And the question is, when are we going to break out to either side? That's the big question. So sideways it is still for XRP. Let me see what else I had. Here we had another one. Why did XRP surge 35,000% in 2017? By the way, I've kind of gotten more annoyed by people who claim that XRP and Ripple are the same thing. But that is because I'm talking about it so often right now. And when people say, yeah, I bought Ripple, and they say that to their hundreds of thousands of followers, I kind of get annoyed that people might get the wrong picture about these things and might, claim more of the security issue. However, we also saw that security for XRP is no issue whatsoever anymore. So even if people, use the different names, in the end, it's not going to be mattering because, I mean, who cares if they say that and they think it's a security, but it's not. I don't really see the big issue because Ripple would perform if XRP was a security very, very well. And by the way, this was one of the articles that took all my doubt away because when I didn't actually read it, but I watched the podcast, which is what this whole article is really based upon. When I watched that and when I told you guys about it as well, that was really my last kind of point of debate or question point, or the point I could have kind of, had some disagreeing on sometimes in the comment section. But right now, since they are 95% out of the US, or 90 to 95%, there's really no scare of being a security, which I never could have expected. I thought they would really crumble if it were to be a security, but it won't. XRP can operate completely fine because it would be only in the US that it would be declared a security and not worldwide. So yeah. Then again, guys, go ahead and follow me over on Twitter. That's my @TheDustyBC. Go ahead and follow and check it out. Ethereum 2.0, by the way, hit its required 500,000 Ethereum or so. There's currently 775,000 Ethereum locked in the contract, which is already 150% of the amount. The first couple of weeks, we said it's most likely all going to be coming at the end of the end, and right now is the last 4 days or so that you can wait for launch for, or phase 0 of Ethereum 2.0. But after a little while, after the deposits went so slow, I kind of got afraid that it wasn't going to get there, since it kind of stemmed down. But now, in just the last week or so, people have put in so much money that I think everything is going to be good. And, well, yeah, they got 700,000 ETH in, which is, I don't know how much percent is that of the total supply of Ethereum. They placed it somewhere here in there, but I forgot. Here you can see 0.7% of the total circulating supply is locked up in that. Ethereum Classic hard fork receives Binance support. Again, I gotta kind of support some projects here and tell about them whenever I find them. Bitcoin and Ethereum competitor Libra will launch in January, and that is something I want to talk about a little bit later today here about this January 2021. What we're going to be seeing, what we're going to be expecting, as Libra is going to be interesting, but also some stock crashes or stuff like that. Well, I'm going to be talking about that a little bit later, so make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you guys again in another crypto video.